Marguerite from Move to Tacoma, and I'm here with my friends and colleagues, Madison and Regina. And we're gonna talk about how to sell your house, but how to sell your house when your house needs some work.
Ooh.
I think you guys are such experts at this. You have all the contacts, all the skills, and most importantly, I think for a lot of folks, you know what needs to be done and what really doesn't need to be done. I know a lot of people, like, they don't even reach out. They're like, I'm not even going to call a realtor until I fixed it and done that, and then I can have them over to my house. And I think that's the first sort of myth we need to dispel. Like, do not touch your house. Don't even clean your house until you call us. Can you talk about that?
I would say 9 times out of 10 people do create that list where they think, okay, if I'm going to sell my house for top dollar, I have to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And then when we come in and walk through their house and compare lists, they look very different.
Yeah.
What are the biggest things that people kind of make a mistake on? Like, what is important and what is just not important?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think it's a little bit different in every aspect, but I think when you live in the house, you have a list in your mind of what you would do if you stayed there, or what you think you need to do to get top dollar. And a lot of times, some of those things is just not worth doing. And a lot of it kind of, I feel like, comes down to cosmetic things.
Yeah.
Because a new buyer might have a totally different idea of what they want to do.
To be specific, like flooring.
Oh,
so people will, let's say that they have tile flooring and like the grout always gets dirty and they're like, this tile flooring, like nobody likes tile flooring anymore. They think they need to replace it, and we'll come in and say, oh gosh, like who knows what someone else would do, but let's throw a rug and some staging, and like right away your eye's gonna look at the view or the kitchen, and you're not going to be focused on the flooring.
Yeah, and that's a huge cost. And you might have somebody that wants to do luxury vinyl or carpet, so you start making decisions and writing checks for things that you really don't need to do.
I think the big thing is most sellers have a specific amount of money that they can assign to preparing the house to sell. And your job is to make sure they're spending it on the right things, right?
Yeah. We call it looking for listing dollars.
We need like a ding.
But we walk around and we try to get them to take off their seller hat and put on their buyer's eyes. And then we work with several buyers as well, so we're able to walk through and get a feeling like, okay, here's a first impression thing. Here's what you need to look at to do, and make specific suggestions that we feel like would be the biggest bang for their buck.
Well, and from my experience all these years working with buyers, there are things that a buyer will walk in a house, and whether or not they will actually end up doing it, they think they will and they can. And there are other things that they are just there's no appetite for. And doing some of those things that other people are not going to feel like they can do can sometimes be the biggest thing, right?
Right, yeah.
So I would say like 911s, if you're going to be selling your house, the things that we are like non-negotiable is just if there are any issues like that where a buyer, if they have no knowledge on a house, if a buyer walks in and sees something like a crack on the ceiling, and their eyes will go to the crack and be like, oh my gosh, the foundation's falling or whatever. So we kind of go through and look at any random wire hanging out, maybe you had a past roof leak and there's some discoloration on the ceiling. Like those are 911s that we always recommend to have fixed so properly. So then buyers don't hold back from making an offer.
Yeah.
So for a lot of sellers, those kinds of things you just described kind of sound like the honey-do list that most of us have in our homes. And it's like, oh man, now I've got to do all this stuff. The truth is they don't actually have to be the ones to do it, right? Like you have the connections.
We have some awesome handyman and contractors.
And handy women.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, we do. We actually do.
Yeah, and they can whip it together. And we do have people that can do things, vendors that will be paid at closing too. So if there's an issue, like Madison was saying, that would stop a buyer or that would be an issue, we can either get a bid on it and kind of have that in reserve, or we can just go ahead and fix it if we know it's going to come down to it and be paid at escrow. So one of our handyman, he's great, and he gets in and out, and he can do a couple hours of work and be paid at escrow. And it's those things that really catapult your house and can really add dollars to your bottom line.
I I think this is really a key time to bring in like the importance of working with a local expert, because the truth is the kind of relationships that you've built with contractors and with, I mean, we are in a boom right now, and it is hard to find a good handyman. It is hard to find a good painter, sheetrocker, deck builder, fence builder. These people are booked way out. So having a local real estate agent that already has built these relationships and has maybe even negotiated like nice payment terms for you, like that is reason enough to find someone who is a local expert and who lists a lot of houses, because it's a different art than representing buyers or representing people, you know, across counties. Like to be a listing agent in Pierce County and fix up houses it's a pretty good niche.
Yeah.
Not every agent is good at that. This was never my niche. This was never what I did. Like, I think it's really great that you guys have built this network.
Yeah, I call Madison my aesthetic specialist, because she has really got that design eye. She's designed and put together 2 houses of her own. I ask her for advice, but it's part of the team of just taking a look. And anybody can take pictures and list your house, but if you really want to look for those listing dollars and take away the buyer objections so that you can get top dollar and have the team to be able to do it.
We call it like a concierge. So it's like, honestly, drop off your house keys. And because people get stressed. It is stressful picking colors, knowing who to work with, am I getting ripped off, like all these questions. Drop off your keys, and we create like a production calendar, because it is a production. You're having not only the work done, but scheduling for like multiple bids, arranging for, multitude of different things. But
staging,
laying out the timeline. It's normally, and sometimes we see houses in really, really rough conditions, and we can take it within like 2 weeks, typically, from not show ready at all, for lack of better terms, to gorge.
Well, and I think for people who are watching who are like, wow, like I also am one of those people that does not have a lot of aesthetic taste. You know, I think that is a real gift. No, definitely not. Okay. Definitely is not my gift in life.
You must know some good people that sound like your aesthetic.
Thank you. But like for folks who are like, oh my God, I have to bring my house on the market. Like there's going to be all this stuff that needs to happen. The idea that there are people who this is what they do to help take all of that out of your hands. It just has to be a huge relief.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you know, we're in this market right now with just a massive number of buyers and very few listings. So, I mean, you can just like throw your hands in the air and throw your house on the market, and it will probably still sell. It will. Yeah. But when you talk about listing dollars, like the amount of money you can make for a little bit of time and a little bit of effort and a little bit of expertise, I mean, it's incredible, right? Like how many more buyers are going to be interested in your house with just a few changes?
Right. And usually we take a look at that and try to give a scenario based on the comparables. But, you know, generally it's like if you spend 2 to 5, then you're making 15 to 20 more, you know.
It's definitely worth it then.
Yeah.
And we actually were talking about, when we're talking details, like toilet paper folds to be exact. And we had someone ask for if we could get a statistic going with, because we always fold the toilet paper fold on everything. And it just takes the bar like from here to here. It's like from hotel to luxury boutique experience, you know, it's just a whole experience for people. When they walk in and they see the folded toilet paper, it makes them feel special. And so
it's the little things,
I'm going to find that stat somewhere, and I guarantee you that houses with folded toilet paper sell more. But
well, thank you for coming on and for sharing a few of your little secrets. And if you are looking for a specialist, reach out. Like selling your house right now, it is going to sell, but selling it for top dollar is still an art.
It's an art. A little art and a little science.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.